Hello, Nichelle. How are you today?
I'm just great, beautiful.
I'm so glad you could come visit us today. First of all, I just want to say today is February the 8th, 2013, approximately 9 p.m., and we get to speak with you at this moment. So we're very, very excited and grateful that you could come out to our home.
Thank you so much. It's a beautiful home. And I love your doggies who seem to love me too. One big one, one little one.
Yes, I do.
It's been a great life for me. When you ask me how my day is,
Yes.
it's a challenge day every day because you have different outlooks and aims, and and sometimes things go right and sometimes they do go wrong. And relatively speaking of relatives, many times my relatives think I'm working too hard or shouldn't be doing this after all these years. And my beautiful son, Kyle, says, "Mom, you have to stop work." Of course, he never stops working.
Yes.
and Mom, you've got to get some rest. And I appreciate that. But I was going to on my way out of town again, and he doesn't live in the same town. He doesn't live in Hollywood or Beverly Hills. I live in Beverly Hills. So he sees me on travel as overwork, as I think he thinks Star Trek is for which I'm most known.
Yes.
Is not a blessing to me, which every Star Trek would do, and the millions disagree. They all know who I am, what I am, and why I love all of them as much as they love all of me.
Yes.
It's a beautiful thing. It's a concept that Gene Roddenberry brought to life at a time when women and men, black, white, yellow, brown, and red, really needed to come together, really needed, be quiet.
Noisy bracelets.
Okay, see, where we really needed to relate to one another as human beings and not just one race to the same race. I have a following, God bless America.
You certainly do. Most of the world knows you.
And it's quite remarkable that that's so, because Gene Roddenberry had this vision of a universe that accepted all peoples, and so it's not like a TV show that ran its course and is now gone, or should be gone. And it's funny that my son, who works his little tail off with in his work, thinks that I should be letting up, and I say to him, "Kyle, when you pay my bills, you'll be able to tell me what to do. You don't pay my bills." And he says, "Well, if you didn't travel so much or something like that, you shouldn't be." And I said, "You can't tell me what I can and cannot be as a human being any more than you can tell a woman what she can and cannot be, or do, a man what mountain he can climb." Mm-hmm. All my ventures in my life have been mountains. Yes. That I enjoy climbing. And I think he still really doesn't understand. And there are a few other people who think I should be, I don't know, do housework or something that fits my age. Mm-hmm. Well, I said, when you pay all my bills and all my luxuries that I have enjoyed in life, maybe I'll let you say one thing in my life, but you don't pay for my life. You don't own me, and I don't try to own you. I had that problem even with my son. And I said, if you ever need anything, come to me.
Yes.
In the meantime, let me know. I'm sorry, I got something in my eye, but that's okay. It's gone. Let me know what we're talking about. Let's sit down and talk. Mom, I don't want to. I've got a business. I'm doing this over here. And that last weekend, for instance, because kids are kids. Just because he's, 35, 40, doesn't mean he can tell me how I can live my life, you know. And that he thinks it's really awful that I'm still traveling, as if I have to do that in order to live. I don't have to do anything.
May I ask you, do you currently still want to act and go out to your conventions and signing your photos? Is that
Absolutely.
it still excites you?
It's very exciting because for at every era that comes along with Star Trek, it's a new era, and yet Star Trek is ahead, you know. So that makes it for me a strong and powerful presence in my life, because I go out to speak at Star Trek conventions. They're not every night. They're wait until the really important places that we go, and the people, the fans, are so appreciative, and they all have questions.
Yes.
Some of them are the same questions you worked with before, but most of them, even if it's the same kind of question, there's a newness in it.
Yes.
So it's not, I was trying to tell my son today, who wants me to stop.
Stop doing what?
Star Trek. Stop going out of town. Stop. I go to Europe. I go to New York. I go to San Francisco. I go to wherever to Texas, wherever the treks, and that's mine now.
Yes.
For me to enjoy, and now it's a kind of a reverse enjoyment, because it used to be the stars, the fans didn't know what was coming up next because we were still running, but they still want to come and shake our hands and tell us personally what Star Trek has meant to them, what each individual actor has a coterie of fans who come to tell them why they are their fans, each one's fan.
Yes.
What Gene Roddenberry in creating Star Trek brought to the world is something that nobody else has done since or yet. He has not done better yet, and has done from the get-go the really important role of yourself knowing who you are, as opposed to me being somebody's fan, you know, having fans because I'm me. I'm Nichelle Nichols.
Yes.
Lieutenant Uhura,
Yes.
on the other hand, really brought a sense of power to that person, because they saw within the time that what Gene wrote, something that belonged to them. Mm-hmm. They're their own selves.
Right.
They have the power to. They're not waiting for. They're creating new Trekdom every time they go to a Trek scene, they learn something new. They bring their babies, their children, and if you could see a little 6-year or 7-year-old boy standing there going, "Why'd you turn your hair white, Lieutenant Uhura?"
Yeah.
And I said, "Oh, I'm sorry, you don't like it." "Oh, no, I like it." And another comes up, "No, I like it when it says," and they get into their little battle.
Debate, yes.
And the mothers are going, "Oops. I'm
Yes.
sorry, Miss Nichols. Don't
Yes.
be sorry,
Yes.
because this is our future. These
Yes.
are our future. And just to think that Gene Roddenberry and his creativeness, in his own creative way, changed the face of the world.
So
Because everyone now has the attitude that I'm not a follower,
yes,
I'm a leader.
you are.
I'm a leader. And I wish to lead those who wish to follow with something that frees them into an enjoyment of something that will last forever.
Well, I'd have to say that you've led a lot of people, men and women, but in particular women, because
Yes.
the role that you played on Star Trek as Lieutenant Uhura, I mean, first of all, you're an African American woman, and so many African American young girls, such as myself, looked at you and thought, "Wow, I can become something. I can go into business. I can become an actress. I can become an astronaut." So you inspired so many people from Star Trek through the blaxploitation films, through all the other films that you
Yes.
did for Star Trek,
Yes.
and all the other work that you did. How did you handle the stress? How did you build yourself into that entity that you are as Nichelle Nichols?
Anything you do in this life, you have to earn in order to eat, in order to do the things that make your body strong, and so forth. So that's a must. And so I must work in order to have a life. That I'm going to work in the area that I love the most. And I'm just luckily, it pays my bills and then some.
Yes.
And it's funny that you mentioned about women in space.
Yes.
I think it's 79 or the first, NASA came to me when I was appearing at a Star Trek convention. By the way, NASA's filled with trekkers, so
I would
and
think
make
so.
no bones about it, you know.
Yes.
And they came to me almost as fans, you know, instead of business people, and they brought me to NASA headquarters. Now we're doing this, talking business, and I was shocked from what they wanted from me. They wanted me to recruit the first women and minority astronauts for the space shuttle program.
Wow.
And I said, "Why me? You know, there are speakers out there, you know, I'm an actor." Because, they said, when they hear it from you, they know it's true.
Yes.
So you cannot pass this up, because there are young women out there that are being their own young women, their own person,
Yes.
because of you, because Gene Roddenberry gave us a varied and beautifully varied concept of what life is, should be, and how we should be respecting one another. Not that we must, but we should be respecting one another. As women, as men, as women, as children, and children learn faster than the grown-ups.
Yes.
They come up and they look up to my desk for an autograph, and they stand there like this, and they ask me so many questions that I'm going to write a book.
Yes.
You know, and it's wonderful to have had a career that you get up and go to work on every day, but it's also wonderful to have the rewards from that come regularly.
Yes.
That they owe us, and to go to the next step with the concept of men, women, children as equals on their own,
Right.
and demand respect for
Right.
themselves. There are little kids now that come up to me not, oh, I want an autograph, I want an autograph. They come up and give me serious conversation. I'm talking about a kid that's no more than 8 at the most.
Wow.
So God gave me this magnificent opportunity to not only make my living,
Yes.
but to make the world a better place. Or you could be sit at your house, like sometimes people think I should be doing now that I'm so wealthy, which I'm not. Now that I'm so famous, which I am.
Yes, you are.
And I want them to know, I want everyone to know, I still earn my living.
Yes.
And that is powerful to me. And people bring me in from all over the world. I think the only place I haven't been is China and Africa. Please forgive me. I've been waiting for that invitation. But China, and then of course China, that last week became, I'm working for China,
Yes.
working on there for China. But young people have to have a reason for. They want to know what's possible in
Right.
this world for them. And I represent for young people, middle young people,
Yes.
and adults who've been there, who tell me I represent opportunity and challenge.
Yes.
And that's the most wondrous way to live.
Yes, I agree. I agree.
Right.
So,
As opposed to sitting back and saying, well, I'll get X amount of money every week, a month, because I worked myself till I was 40.
right.
Well, I started, I just got started at 40.
Yes.
I'm 80.
Yes,
And I'm still working.
Yes,
And I will be on an airplane in a couple of weeks going to another, and where I go to one what's really happened that's really wonderful, when I go to one convention, someone holds another kind of gathering. So Star Trek conventions are unique within themselves.
Yes.
The convention or concurrence of women coming together to talk to you about, and they have glories. You guys keep me on my toes.
But you are truly an inspiration to us. I mean, I hope one day to make it to the glorious age of 80, and I mean that from the heart.
It's a lot of fun.
Yes.
It's my fun.
And the fact that you're still working, I heard that you have a couple of films coming up.
I've got a couple of films coming up. I will be filming in, what month is this?
February.
March. I'll be filming in March. I have about 5 films this year.
Yes.
To do already.
Yes.
I'm going back on the stage.
Yes.
I say
Wonderful.
yes. I'm going back into theater.
Yes.
I've never stopped. It's like telling a housewife to stop doing what she does, and then you start turning around and say, why is all this stuff piled up here?
Right.
Well, if you don't, get out and do it yourself, because I'm very busy over here doing this,
Right.
Right.
And
nobody can tell me. And I understand what my son, but my son doesn't pay my bills. I pay him more than if you want to be talking about that. But he's a successful young man in his own right in New Mexico.
Yes.
And I'm very proud of him. I would never tell him to stop doing what he's doing.
Exactly.
And so, it kind of, I keep bringing that up because that's most current. but it's also the current thing in my life,
Yes.
that concerns me. My son telling me I'm too old to work, practically. And the difference between that attitude and my going out and talking to and responsible for hundreds, sometimes thousands of young women who said, if she can do it, I can do it.
Yes.
If she talks like that, I love it. I can be it. I can be. She said, I can. She said. One mother said, okay, I'm tired of this. She said you could. I said, I had to tell my mother, Mom, she just says the same thing that you said, that I can be anything that I want to be if I put my head to strength and my strength of mind to it and my body and train you. If I want to be a ballerina,
Yes.
start young, build those muscles,
Yes.
get those toes in
Yes.
those shoes, and like I did at
Yes.
8 years old.
Yes, I know. I
And
know
then
those
when you
shoes.
want to make up your mind who you want to be and what you want to be, you go with a great sense of confidence.
Yes. Well, you know, I'm looking forward to your couple new films, Omaha Street
yeah.
and Unbelievable.
Yes.
And I also heard that you are possibly going to have an event at the Kennedy Center, but I don't
yes.
know much information about that. So
They've invited me every time something goes on in Kennedy Center now. They're so filled with Star Trek fans.
yes.
The head of NASA,
Yes.
the very head of NASA, our National Aeronautics and Space Administration, has taken us to the moon and back. Is a trekker.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
And he became an astronaut because of Star Trek.
Right.
He is now head of the astronaut corps.
That's amazing. That's how many
And
people
he
you
happens
inspired.
to be a brilliant African American young man.
That's amazing.
Yes.
That's amazing.
Yes.
So, you know, how about your life right now? So, can you tell me a little bit about what's going on today in your life?
One would think and that I should stop doing what I'm doing, going out and being who I am and lecturing and so forth, and lean back on my laurels, which I have carefully taken care of. And I'm still paid. I'm paid now more money than I've ever paid, and I was never dissatisfied with what I was paid, because they can now, it's not talking about seeing the lady on Star Trek, the first communications officer on a Starship Enterprise. They're talking about life now, of which that is included, from which that gave them the inspiration to become, and I get as much fan mail today as I ever got. And they all want me to know, not only do they love Star Trek, but what Star Trek has brought to them.
Yes.
And this is something that I'm seriously, I like to joke and so forth and then, but I'm very, very serious.
Yes.
What I do in this area, God gave me this opportunity to enlarge on.
Yes.
And
Now,
that's it.
Now, I know that you've had
Are we okay?
I know that you've had a short period where you fell ill, most recently. How are you feeling like you're recovering from that experience?
I wasn't really ill. I was tired. And that was mistaken for illness. And I was put in the hospital. And in 2 days, the hospital personnel are coming and they said, "What are you doing in this hospital? In the hospital, you're so healthy. You have such good. I guess they meant karma. I like to call it that because it's they always get to. You have such. I don't have the word for it, but I benefit from it
Yes.
because I want to be like you. or what you've done. I said, don't be like me. Be the best you, and you'll be really, really, really happy. Really happy, and you'll have given something to the world.
Right.
Most precious.
Right.
Most precious.
Right. So, you know, in life, you know, we experience so many things. You know, there's people who want us to do this project. They want us to do that project. They don't want us to work. They don't want us to, you know, do this, that, the other.
You know, sound like my son.
And they you know, they may make decisions for us. You know, personally, you know, we know each other.
Yeah.
You've come to my home. I'm grateful, you know, to have your time and your friendship.
Yes. It's mutual.
Thank you. So in regards to your property and what's going on with